In this lesson, I'm gonna show you how to implement one of my favorite design patterns, which is Flyweight. As I mentioned in the lecture, Flyweight allows you to reduce memory usage. Especially, I understand the power of Flyweight when I am working on a huge project. First of all, we are going to create an application with a problem related to the memory usage. And after, using Flyweight, I'm gonna eliminate that problem. Okay, let's get started. Create main module, main.js, and let's create class course. Inside of the course class, create constructor with the following parameters: title, user, and completed course or not. Okay? Or you can use even object. Let's use object data. This.title equals data.title, because we're gonna get access to the title through this object. This.user equals data.user, and this.completed, data.completed. Okay, good. Now let's create list of users. Const users. For example, Alex, Paul, John, and let's... Okay, I think 4 is enough. And also let's create predefined value for completed or not. It will be true or false. Const completed equals true or false. Good. Keep in mind, when you are using keyword const, you aren't able to modify a variable. But this statement is not true when you are working with things like plain object or array. Remember that you can change their properties, even if they were defined with const. It's not the case when const is working like object freeze, okay? The next step is to create course methods. Let's create course methods. Const course methods. It will be just function. And this course will return the following methods: add method, get method, and also get count. The first method will create a course. The following method, get, will be responsible for getting the course from the array of courses. And get count is responsible for getting number, how many courses we have. Let's implement these methods. First will be add const add input parameter for this method will be data. And let's create empty object for courses. Courses empty object. It should be const. Let's use courses, and we're gonna put data.title. and assign new course object with input parameter data. And now let's create counter to count how many courses we have. Count. We're gonna use let because we're gonna modify this count variable. Initial value will be 0. The following method is get. Const get title, because we are going to get the course according to title, and return courses with title. And the last method is get count. Just return the count value. Now let's create, for example, 1 million of courses. Let's use for loop. I hope you know how to use for loop. Create let I equals 0 because we're gonna modify this I. That's why we are using let. If I less than 1 million, or let's use just variable here, number of courses, num courses. Create constant variable num courses million, and increase our counter by 1. Now let's create course method object, const courses new course method. Due to this object, we are able to get these methods. We have an access to these methods: add, get, and get count. Now let's use add method. Courses.add. Inputs for this method will be data object with following parameters. Let's open and close curly braces. Title, because in the constructor we have title, user, and completed. Let's use just counter. I plus course user. And now I'm going to get one of the users from our list. Let's use random function. Users math.floor, and inside math.random function. And we're gonna multiply by 4 because we have only 4 values in this list. Now let's do the same for completed or not. Completed. Let's copy this line. But now I'm going to multiply by 2 because we have only 2 values, true or false. Good. What is the next step? Now I want to find out how much memory I'm using before I created 1 million courses and after. Let's create const initial memory, and let's use process dot memory usage. This is a predefined function of JavaScript. Usage heap used. Okay, let's copy this line and paste after for loop because we are going to find out what is the final memory after we will create 1 million of objects. And the last step is to make some simple calculations. We're gonna subtract initial memory from final memory. Final memory minus initial memory. And let's place this value in the used memory variable. Now let's use console log, console.log, used memory plus this variable. Let's check. Oh, by the way, we are not allowed to use new keyword with arrow functions. Here, you see? Let's just use ordinary function. Good. Now we can check. Note main. Okay, now we have 198 megabytes. Let's divide it by 1 million because it will be more clear. Divide by 1 million. You know that this number is not related to this number. You can use here even 1000, but here should be 1 million. And let's use the fixed function. To fixed. Now it will be clear. Yeah, we have 198 megabytes. Good. But what is the problem with this application? If you look at the constructor, you'll find out that we have only one unique parameter, title. These two parameters should be shared between all objects, because we have users, predefined list, and completed or not. We share these values. That's why every time when you are creating new object, these values are recreated and we lose our memory. That's why let's use Flyweight design pattern to eliminate this problem. First of all, create class Flyweight. Create class Flyweight, and let's put in the constructor that parameters that are not unique. In our case, user and completed. User completed. But later we will access to these parameters in the course constructor. Just wait. The next step is to create Flyweight, factory maybe. Or you can give another name. It's not related to the factory design pattern, but I'm going to use Flyweight factory name because it's more reasonable. Because we are going to create new Flyweights. Const Flyweight factory, Flyweight factory. And let's use IIFE functions, which is immediately invoked function. I already explained what is it in the previous lectures. And let's create function here. Okay, good. Now let's create a subset for courses. Const Flyweights. And now we're gonna create get functions that will be responsible for getting Flyweight for us. And inputs for this get function will be every parameter which is not unique to the course. In our case, it will be user and completed. Let's create get function. Const get user completed. Because we have set of users and also we have some values for completed or not, now we're gonna check, do parameters exist? If not, Flyweight will create that parameters. If they exist, then Flyweight will return them. Let's check. If Flyweight doesn't exist, with parameters user class completed, we should create new Flyweights. Flyweights. Users plus completed. New Flyweight object. Flyweight with inputs, user, and completed. But if the Flyweight exists, just return it. Return Flyweight with user plus completed. Now let's implement getCount function. Const getCount. We are going to get the number of Flyweights. It's not related to the number of courses, which is function in the course methods. This is just number of Flyweights that we're gonna create during the object creations. You will see it later. Okay, let count 0. Let's use for loop f in Flyweight and count plus plus. We're gonna just count the number of Flyweights and increment counter by 1 every time and return count. Good. Now let's return these two methods, get and getCount. Return getCount. Good. Remember that these get and getCount are not related to these methods. Okay? And now we're going to get access to these Flyweights parameters, user and completed. Let's use this dot Flyweight and let's use Flyweight factory to get Flyweights. Data dot user data dot completed. Okay, it seems that we are ready to run our Flyweights. Just remember this value. And now we're gonna check our new application with Flyweight design pattern. Let's see the difference. Oh, I have an error. I should delete this comma. And also we should delete this data object because we are using just user and completed. We are not using object. Let's check one more time. And now everything is working. You see, we have 194 megabytes, but here we have 98 megabytes. We saved 4 megabytes. I guess that you think that this small number, but when you are working on a huge project and you have many parameters in the constructor, you will see the difference, and that this Flyweight pattern is very useful design pattern. Now Don't forget to practice and see you in the next video, guys.